Tel Aviv under fire, Iran's biggest strike yet. The sirens begin before the headlines do, a vibration in the air, a sound that turns ordinary streets into corridors of urgency. In moments like these, a city does not just react, it reveals what has been building beneath the surface for years. Tel Aviv under fire is not only an image of conflict, it is a signal. Missiles crossing the night sky are visible. The forces that launched them are not, when Iran unleashes what is described as its biggest strike yet. The world focuses on trajectories, interception systems, and impact zones. But the deeper story rarely appears in the flashes of light, because a barrage is never only about damage. It is about leverage, power communicated through motion. For decades, Israel and Iran have existed in a state that falls somewhere between Cold War and open hostility. Not constant war, but constant calculation, strategic patience, indirect confrontation, signals sent through proxies and partners. Then, suddenly, the conflict moves from the shadows into the sky. A large-scale strike does more than test defenses. It tests assumptions about deterrence, about limits, about how far either side is willing to go. Israel's air defense systems respond with precision, interceptors rising to meet incoming threats, turning potential devastation into controlled explosions high above the city. To many observers, this is a technological triumph, but technology does not eliminate intent. If missiles are launched in unprecedented numbers, the question is not only how many are intercepted, the question is why escalate now. Escalation is rarely spontaneous. It is often the result of accumulated pressures, political isolation, regional shifts, internal calculations about strength and credibility. Sometimes the strike is not aimed solely at its target, sometimes it is aimed at perception. Iran's decision to escalate so visibly forces multiple audiences to pay attention. Israel, certainly. But also neighboring states. Global powers. Domestic populations. A strike becomes a message written in light across the sky. And Israel's response, measured, forceful, or restrained, becomes part of that same message. This is how deterrence evolves. Each action reshapes the boundaries of what is considered acceptable. Each response redraws the invisible line between retaliation and escalation. But what makes this moment different? Scale. When a barrage grows larger than before, it challenges the previous equilibrium. It suggests that prior red lines may no longer hold, and that introduces uncertainty. Uncertainty in global markets, uncertainty in diplomatic channels, uncertainty in regional alliances once considered stable. The visible explosions capture attention. The structural consequences unfold quietly afterward. A single night of missile fire can alter strategic thinking for years. Governments reassess vulnerabilities. Militaries adjust doctrine. Alliances tighten, or fracture, and ordinary citizens, watching trails of light above their homes, internalize a different realization. Distance offers no guarantee of safety. Conflict between Israel and Iran has often been described as indirect, fought through cyber operations, intelligence maneuvers, and regional proxies. A massive, direct strike reframes that narrative. It asks whether the era of shadow confrontation is narrowing, or whether this, too, is calculated theater, a dramatic gesture intended to reinforce deterrence without crossing into full-scale war. The world analyzes interception rates and satellite imagery, but beneath that analysis lies a quieter question: are both sides testing how much instability the system can absorb? History shows that prolonged rivalries tend to evolve in cycles. Periods of relative quiet give way to sharp spikes of visibility. Each spike feels unprecedented, yet patterns remain: strategic signaling, calculated risk, escalation balanced carefully against consequences. The danger lies not only in the missiles themselves, but in miscalculation, in believing the other side will interpret a signal exactly as intended, in assuming that strength will always prevent overreaction. Tel Aviv Under Fire is a dramatic image. But it is also a chapter in a longer story, one shaped by ideology, regional power struggles, and competing visions of security, and every chapter narrows or widens the path forward. Will this strike reinforce deterrence, or weaken it? Will it draw external powers deeper into the conflict, or push diplomatic efforts into urgent motion? The answers are not found in a single night. They are found in the choices made afterward, when the sirens stop and the smoke clears, the real calculations begin, and those calculations may shape far more than the skyline of one city. They may shape the balance of an entire region. Look beyond the flashes in the sky, consider the incentives. The fears, the strategic pressures that made such a strike possible, because understanding those invisible forces matters more than counting the missiles. Share your perspective. Do you see this as escalation without return, or a calculated signal within a controlled rivalry? The future of this conflict may depend not only on firepower, but on interpretation.